Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows and then I come over here and I react to them. So if you like to watch TV shows and you like to talk about TV shows, why not come over here and hang out with me and subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think about the TV shows in the comment section below. Today I want to talk about 1,000-Pound Sisters, this week's most recent episode, which is season 7, episode 6, and it's called She's Got This Mantality, which is actually a quote from Chris during the show. But before I get into that, I want to say that I'm watching so many shows right now that I don't even know what to cover anymore because Monday is Sister Wives, which is getting ready to end because we're going into the reunion next week. Tuesday is kind of a floater day. Wednesday is usually 1,000-Pound Sisters or a Poly Family. And then I have been watching Love After Lockup. I'm watching the current season, which is season 6. I went back and I watched season 4. I've already previously watched season 5 and half of the season of season 5, Life After Lockup. So if you don't know how Love After Lockup works, it goes Love After Lockup, Life After Lockup, but then they also added Love During Lockup. So really it goes Love During Lockup, Love After Lockup, and Life After Lockup. And then they pick and choose which couples are going to be on like Life After Lockup. Okay, I didn't figure this out, which is why every season has like 42 episodes or something like that. So I actually started it last year on season 5, and I watched all of season 5, Love After Lockup, which some of the couples had been on Love During Lockup, and then some of the couples were afterwards on Life After Lockup. But I got so confused by it. But now I'm watching season 6, and I am, like, obsessed. It is my #1 most obsessed show. So I'm watching the current season, which is season 6, and then I went back and I started watching season 4. My friend Nikki and I are watching them together. But last night I got to episode 10, and then it went into Life After Lockup. And I'm like, okay, I've now watched Love After Lockup season 4, Love After Lockup season 5, I'm on Love After Lockup season 6, part of Life After Lockup, but I don't know some of these people from previous seasons. So last night, I went back and I started on season 1, episode 1 of Love After Lockup, which I believe is only like 7 episodes. If you want to watch all of them, I'm watching on AMC. I don't know where else they are, but it's got all the seasons in order. So I'm going back and watching Love After Lockup from season 1, and then I'm going to watch it all the way through. I mean, I'm going to skip the episodes that I've already seen, but so that I know all the players and Life After Lockup, Love During Lockup, and all that kind of stuff. So people ask me all the time, they're like, what shows are you watching that you're going to react to? I'm going to start reacting to Love After Lockup. So I just want to let you know, I might be talking about season 1. If you want to go back and watch it with me, you can. Some of you have probably already watched season 1. I also wanted to tell you guys that on, I believe it's June 3rd. June 3rd is a new TLC show that is starting, and it is called 1,000-Pound Roomies, and it looks fantastic. I mean, it's very similar to like 1,000-Pound Sisters, 1,000-Pound Best Friends. I'm really, really excited about it. I will be watching it, and I will be reacting to it over here. Also, people have asked me to watch and react to The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I reacted to season 1. I don't really know how to watch it and react to it. That's why I haven't started it yet, because last season, I watched the first 2 episodes, reacted to it, and then I think I reacted to the rest of the season because they put all, I think 10 episodes out at the same time. I don't even know how many episodes are this season. So let me know in the comment section below if you've watched it, if you would like me to react to 2 episodes at a time or the whole season at a time, which will be a super, super long video. Anyway, let me know in the comment section below and I will do that. I'm also I just finished Squid Game season 1 last night, and I'm now on Squid Game season 2. I don't know why I was so late to the game. The show is fantastic. The character development is fantastic. The backstories are fantastic. It is what I thought it would be, but the character development is so much better than I thought it would be, and I'm loving Squid Game right now. And the 3rd and final season comes out, I think, in June, so I wanted to get caught up with that before it came out. So, saying all that, let's get into this week's episode of 1,000-Pound Sisters, which going into it, we knew was going to be a lot more about Amy getting engaged to Brian, because that's how last week's episode ended, was that Amy and her fiance Brian, and that was with her when she got bit by the camel at the drive-through safari zoo. And then Misty and Amanda were at a haunted house in a strip mall, and then Brian proposed to her in the padded cell room. So that was kind of last week's episode. So we knew that was going to be a big topic for this week's episode. What we didn't know is that Amy hadn't told any of the other siblings, except for Tammy and Misty that were there. There's a whole group text, a family group text. She didn't say anything about being engaged or any of that kind of stuff. So that's kind of how this episode starts. We also knew, if you watched the preview for it, that Tammy was going in to see Dr. Smith for what could potentially be her final meeting with Dr. Smith before she gets her skin removal surgery, which has been like this huge thing. The season, the way it's playing out is very interesting to me, and I don't know if this was a production choice or not. But, from the very beginning, it's been really centered around Amy and Tammy. It really started being centered around Amy, and Amy getting the weight loss surgery, and Tammy not being able to, meet the goals. And Amy was the one at the beginning that was really kind of the inspiration. This season, it's so interesting. It's like Amy continues to make poor choices and feel like the family isn't siding with her, and she has these blow-ups where she goes off on people. And then it's like Queen Tammy is over there, and Queen Tammy has all these inspiring moments. Like this episode, she went ziplining. I mean, it was just, to even see her walk up the stairs, she walked up 90 stairs or something, they said, when before, she wouldn't even, on a family trip, I believe they were in Tennessee or something, she wouldn't even go up one step to get inside the house. Now she's walking up 90 steps to go ziplining. I mean, Tammy is literally this entirely inspirational story. And not just for weight loss, but for, I don't know, just, pursuing your dreams and doing what makes you happy in life. I just love watching Tammy in this. But it's interesting, the juxtaposition that they play with her against Amy. It's like they've always done that from the very beginning of this show, that there has to be one sister, it's not really this way, the bad sister versus the good sister, but the production plays it out very much that way. It's like if Tammy is doing well, Amy can't be doing well. And I don't know if that's really how it's going, but that's how they portray it on the show. I would love to see both of them be, it's not like a bad versus a good thing, obviously, but I'm just saying that's how the show portrays it. I would love to see them both be successful. And this episode is also weird to me because, the last episode, Amanda was kind of rude, and then this episode she was really supportive of Amy and Tammy, and then the next episode they show Amy storming out of the hospital where Tammy's getting her skin removal surgery, and Amanda starts going off on Amy again. It's I don't really know. I love Amy as a character on this show, but you don't really ever know what you're going to get with Amanda, which is interesting. Did I say Amy? I meant Amanda. So let's get into this. So when it starts, we are at Chris and Brittany's, and Misty is there, and she wants to fill everyone in on the proposal that happened at the haunted house at the strip mall. And they want you to know, okay, that it wasn't just a haunted house, that it was a haunted house in a strip mall, okay? That's very important, which I think is hilarious, because that's exactly how I would have told the story to one of my good GDs as well. They talk about how Amy hasn't said anything about being engaged in the group text. Chris said that he was glad that he didn't go because he would have said something to Amy and it would have been sarcastic and she wouldn't have taken it well and she would have felt like the whole family was against her, which she does. Of course she feels like the whole family's against her. He says that they need to be worried about the courts, not worried about getting married, which is kind of the sentiment of all the siblings. Amanda does say that she understands them getting excited about it because it's something positive to focus on during all of this mess of the camel bite and the court situation, all this. You also have to remember that this court date is 2 months after the camel bite. The way that they film the show, they film it like it's just the very next week. But it's literally you can tell because it was Halloween and now it's cold outside and they're getting ready for Christmas. So, it's been a while since the camel bite incident happened. The camel bite incident happened even long before Halloween. I think it was August or September or something like that. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm sure somebody is, as I'm saying that, Google searching the date. But it wasn't Christmas. I know that. Missy says that she gets something about getting proposed to in a strip mall haunted house. They start laughing. Amanda says, yeah, they're all just effing weird. And they talk about them wanting to get married in Waverly Hills Insane Asylum, which is interesting because, I have two friends of mine that are really, really big into the whole ghost hunting paranormal thing. Waverly Hills is a huge one in Kentucky. Waverly Hills they have done. And I think they actually did it with the ghost hunter, the team, Zach Bagans or somebody like that. I think they went to Waverly Hills and did that with him. Waverly Hills is supposedly one of the most haunted places in the United States. And so it's interesting to me, but Amy and Brian have decided that they want to get married on Halloween in Waverly Hills. Now, I just want to say this, okay? I think it's interesting that, which will be this upcoming Halloween, okay? Which, Halloween 2025. I think it's interesting, at one point Amanda says how you got a venue, and she says, yeah, Waverly Hills. And this is at the end of the episode. I think it's interesting that Amy and Brian have already decided that they're going to get married at Waverly Hills on Halloween, okay? I'm just going to speculate. I don't know about this, but Waverly Hills is one of, like I said, one of the most haunted attractions in our country, definitely in the Midwest. It's hard to even get bookings to go in there. It's a lot of money to go through there. I think my friends paid a couple $100s to go through there, and they were there from like 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. to like 2 a.m. or something. And they had to go through like a tour. It's like I don't know that you can just book out Waverly Hills for a wedding on Halloween, of all dates, Halloween, which Chris referred to as the devil's holiday. I don't know that. I mean, it's interesting to me that Amy, this is what's interesting to me about it, okay, is that Amy is so set on getting married in Waverly Hills, and I don't even know that she's checked into it. And now her family is all saying that they're not going to come. Brittany's Pentecostal. She doesn't want to go in there. Religiously, she doesn't feel comfortable going there, which I respect that. Chris is like, it's the devil's holiday on Halloween. He doesn't want to go to a insane asylum. It's an abandoned insane asylum. Misty and Amanda don't want to go. I mean, Brittany's already talking about how she'll be sick and all this kind of stuff. And so then Amy is using this as an excuse to say that her family isn't supporting her where she wants to get married. Have you checked in, Amy Slayton Halterman, on Waverly Hills on Halloween? Because I would love to know what the booking is to do a wedding at Waverly Hills on Halloween. I don't even know that you can book a wedding there. I don't even know if you can book a wedding there, period, let alone on Halloween. I can't even imagine how astronomical that would cost. So the fact that she's willing to lose her family over this, and cause this huge rift, when has she even looked into it? I mean, I don't know. I could probably Google search right now, like, can you have a wedding I'm sure you could probably have a wedding there, but like on Halloween? I mean, the most wicked day of the year, you know, and then at a most haunted day of the year, you're gonna book a wedding at one of the most sought out haunted attractions in the country. Like, do they do that day? I don't know. So it's interesting that she's willing to like have this rift between all these relationships over this. And then they're all making excuses why they can't go to the wedding. Brittany says she'll be sick that day. Chris and Tammy are planning to go ziplining, they talk about. Not that day, but okay. Tammy chose she wanted to go ziplining because she's trying to do all these new things. Amanda talks about how she can't go ziplining because she's going house hunting. Amy's going to go too. And then Amanda says that Amy's going to see all of this as the family is against her because they don't support her getting married in this insane asylum. So anyway, then they're at the zip lining. They go zip lining, and Tammy says that she's an adrenaline junkie, and it's Tammy, Chris, Amy, and Misty. Amy doesn't want to do it, so she's just going to see the goats, and apparently you can like mine for gold there too, which is basically Amy standing over this thing with rocks, and she's just going through these rocks finding gold. I mean, it's cute, but I mean, to be honest with you, it's probably something that I'm not really into the whole rock thing, but mining for gold, baby, I'm there all day long. But it's all these kind of like roadside attractions that they go to on this show that just cracks me up. It's like they find these, I mean, first of all, the zip lining thing is not really like it's not like zip lining over like a woods or something like that. It's like literally from like 30 feet away. They go zip lining, and then there's like, they don't show the goats or anything. Amy's like, I'm gonna go hang out with the goats, then I'm gonna go mining. So anyway, she's hoping that they don't bring up the proposal because she doesn't want to talk about it. She says this is Amy's, this was her poignant moment of the video, or the profound moment of the episode. She says that it's on Tammy's bucket list to go ziplining, but that it's not on Amy, and that her bucket list is traveling, and that she wants to go to all 50 states and maybe Hawaii. These are the Amyisms that I live for on this show, okay? Tammy's talking about her upcoming Dr. Smith appointment, and she's trying to get her proteins in. They have to be weighed to do this zip line. Tammy has lost more weight, even just like she had weighed herself the day before, and she said she's lost more weight. Chris is like 5 pounds under what he has to be, but he's still lower, so they can both go do it. At one point, they're like, Chris is like right at the limit of the weight max that he can be on, and Misty says that he's like rounding these corners like so fast, but then they don't really say anything about that. It comes back from like a commercial break, and they don't really say anything about it. Amy doesn't do it, and then it's 90 steps to the top, and it's like, this is the most that Tammy's ever done. It's really an inspiring moment. There's a couple in this episode that were really inspiring. This whole season is about Tammy being inspiring, and I'm like, this is such a huge deal. And then Amy's over there, and she's mining for gold and hanging out, I guess, with the goats. And she says she's just there to support Tammy. Later, Tammy comes over, and she's pissed because she's like, she couldn't even walk to the top with us to support us from up there. She just came over here, whatever. I mean, I thought it was nice that Amy came out there and tried to support her. and I don't know, it's like they always like pick each other apart. It's like every little thing. It's like Amanda didn't come at all. Amy came and she didn't want to go up there. And so then it's not enough. Tammy's like, well, you didn't support me by walking to the top. It's, you know, it's never enough. But she doesn't say anything to Amy about it. And then Misty goes first and Chris pushes her. And then Tammy, and then afterwards she says she has to go to the bathroom now. And then Tammy goes next. And it's just really inspiring to see. And then they do this like plunge thing. Tammy doesn't want to do it because of how you land on your feet. She's worried about that because she's got bad knees. And so it's like this 50-foot bungee jump plunge is what they do. Chris and Misty do it. And I think this is where Chris pushes Misty. They do it and they're just fine doing it. But Tammy's afraid of how she'll stand back up. She says she doesn't understand why Amy even came. She didn't even walk up the stairs to support them. She said it really hurt her feelings. This is where I kind of feel like, I mean, Amy did come out there. It's like, yeah, she didn't walk up the 90 steps. I don't know that I would walk up the 90 steps. I probably would root for Tammy below. In all truth, I probably would. I don't know I would walk up those 90 steps just to walk back down the 90 steps. Anyway, Tammy said it hurt her feelings. Misty doesn't want to do it, and then Chris just pushes her off. And it's like this bungee jump thing, but she kind of just goes like this. It's like kind of a weak bungee jump. Anyway, and she says, Misty says something about, she calls them some names, and she's pissed they pushed her off. And then it shows Amy and Tammy, and they're mining, it says mining for buried treasure, is what it says. I mean, it's literally like in this like flower pot that they're like mining for, and Amy's like, I think I found gold, and stuff like that. It's just, it kind of cracks me up. Amy says she didn't miss anything because it was really peaceful what she was doing, and that she hasn't had a lot of peace and you know, time because of everything that's been going on between the camel bite, Amanda living there, the kids constantly screaming, and the one picture on her wall that's forever crooked. So she doesn't say that. That's me. The picture on Amy's wall being crooked is like when I talk about McKelty and Sister Wives top hat, okay, at the wedding renewal ceremony. It's like the one picture on Amy's house that is forever crooked. I just want to shout out to you, straighten the picture, Amy, straighten the picture, driving me crazy. That, oh my God, I did not show last week. So many people were like, Peter, you did not insert the picture. Where is it at? Hold on. I did not insert the picture of Amy's feet last week. I greatly apologize for that. So here, let me show you Amy's dirty feet from last week since I screenshot it and took the picture just for it. I should probably have just inserted it, but there you go. There's Amy's, here, we'll just scan right, hold on, let's scan, why is it not letting me scan big up on it? Let's just scan right up on Amy's dirty feet right there. Put that on under a microscope. Okay, so anyway, so then, okay, where are we at now? Anyway, then they leave the zipline thing. Then it's 3 days later, and they're on their way to court. Chris is driving, and he's driving Amy and Brian. The whole conversation's very weird. It's like Amy and Brian are like Chris's kids, and he's talking to them like they're his dad, especially Brian. Brian's like Chris's age, and he's just sitting in the back seat, and it's like he's like a teenage kid talking to Chris. It's weird. Amy says she's not worried about herself. She's worried about her boys because they need her. And I'm like, well, you know, that might have been something that you want to think about before you took the drugs, which you just said was marijuana, but it was actually also mushrooms, into the car and had them. I guess y'all need to be tripping like crazy, baby, when you were driving through seeing those animals. I mean, I'm just saying. And then you also got a charge of child endangerment, which you didn't say, which is interesting, okay? Because later, Amy gives Tammy a tour of Brian's house to show around, and Amy and Brian both talk about how they have to baby-proof the house because the boys are constantly getting into things. Well, Amy got arrested for child endangerment because the kids were in the car when Brian was trying to get Amy help. The cops showed up. They smelled a weird odor coming from the car. People have asked, like, why did the cops get in the car? The cops got in the car because they smelled a weird odor coming from the car, okay? Which would have meant that probably one of them was smoking weed inside the car with the kids literally minutes before the cops showed up. Because mushrooms don't smell like that just sitting in a bag. They just don't, okay? I mean, if you know, you know. And really, neither does marijuana either, obviously. I mean, marijuana has a stench to it, but it's not going to smell like that unless it's lit. I mean, they're going to smell it, you know, coming out from the car. So Amy's talking about how the kids need her and all this kind of stuff, and she's baby-proofing this house. And I'm like, well, you left the kids alone in the car who are constantly going into things. You don't know that they wouldn't have eaten those mushrooms, not knowing what they were. And so it's interesting to me that she kind of downplays this whole thing, and I can't go to jail because I need to be at home with my kids. Well, I think what you need to do is, and this is what your family's saying to you, is you need to figure shit out, Amy, okay? Because obviously you aren't the mother that you think you are, which, hey, listen, no fault, okay? Like, and they say in there mistakes are made and whatever. Chris says in this part, he says mistakes were made before you ever left the house. And I was glad he said that. Because the mistake that he's insinuating is you never should have brought those drugs in the car with the kids to begin with, okay? If Amy or Brian, or well, Amy doesn't drive, if Brian had been pulled over for speeding, and they smelled weirdness coming out of the car, and they searched the car with the kids in there, it would have been the same situation. So she shouldn't have had the drugs in the car at all. Then to get on a show on TLC and lie about it and say, well, we just had some marijuana in there because of my marijuana maintenance card, which in all honesty wouldn't be a bag of weed. It would be like a marijuana pen. And then, so she says that, but you also had mushrooms. So are you getting psychedelic mushrooms for your back pain through a doctor as well? And why are you having that stuff with the kids? And I actually, in my last video, had a lot of people that commented and said, everybody knows you don't keep that stuff with you while you have your kids in the car. I mean, it's just common sense, first of all. And if you also have kids that can get into anything, like that might be a reason why, you know? I mean, first of all, the kids have come out to Brian's house. They have this pool. I mean, Tammy looks at this pool and she's like, it looks like the Loch Ness Monster. The pool is like filled like with all this green water. It looks like it hasn't been like used in several years. But it's also winter time, so who knows? But Amy's talking about how they need to put up a fence between there and the pool. And I'm like, you're baby-proofing cabinets in a living room inside and putting the plastic things around it. Yeah, you need to drain the pool, number one. Number two, you need to have a fence put up over there because those kids are constantly running around the house, okay? I can't even imagine what would happen if one of those kids was running around the backyard. I mean, Amy doesn't pay attention to half of what's going on half the time anyway. And that Brian doesn't seem like he has any clue what's going on half the time anyway. I mean, it could easily, let's just call it for what it is. They put it on a TV show. They let it there. Yeah, the kids could fall into the pool. It could be extreme. It could be horrifying what could happen. And Amy's like, yeah, we definitely need to get a fence up here. That should have been your first thought before the kids ever came over to that house. I mean, it's dangerous. And the back, and Brian's house and the backyard are so messy. It's like, and Amy's, no wonder they get along so well. The house is, it's just a dirty mess. So anyway, they're driving to court. Chris says that he wants to be there for her in her time of need. Brian says it's messed up. Brian's just, 17 years old complaining about it. He's like, we were trying to get her help and the cops arrested us. And I'm like, okay, as an adult and also the former husband and stepfather of these kids is really like, I would love to see you say, yeah, we made some bad choices. We made some bad choices and we shouldn't have done that. And we're going to be better parents. But he's sitting in the back seat and he's like, yeah, it's all fucked up. It's fucked up what they did to us. I mean, it's like 15-year-old mentality, Chris says mistakes were made before they even left the house. Amy says lessons were learned. Okay, well, we'll see down the road, I guess. Amy says that she's scared shitless of what could happen because she's going to be taken away from her boys. She says she knows she fucked up. She just hopes it doesn't ruin her life, which I think that's a fair statement. She acts very, very scared going to court. Brian doesn't seem scared at all. She seems nervous as shit. The judge grants them a continuance. She has to come back in 30 days and do it all over again. They don't know if it's a good thing. They talk about they're trying to get it down to a misdemeanor. So, I don't know. It's just, I've been sober for over 30 years. Myself and most of my friends have gone through the court system. I have friends of mine that are in the Department of Corrections right now. I have friends of mine that work for the Department of Corrections, work for treatment facilities. I have friends of mine that are work release right now. That whole thing of getting the continuance is a lawyer's tactic to get your charges minimized. So the fact that they had this whole conversation on the way home about it kind of cracked me up. I'm kind of like, most people just know that that's like a tactic to get the minimized, or that maybe the cop won't show up that day and they'll dismiss the charges. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for the defendant. So Amy, you're sitting there saying you wanted the judge to do it that day. She's like, I hope he had some good coffee or good morning sex or something. Well, the continuance is actually a good thing for her. And I think she just ends up getting probation anyway. We find out later. I'm sure that's how they'll end the season. She says she doesn't want to get her... Oh, wait. That's Tammy on the next one. So, she says for the next month she's stuck in limbo. She needs to take care of her boys. Yeah, baby, you do need to take care of your boys. Because that hasn't been your focus. She says in there that's always been her focus. No, it hasn't. If that had always been your focus, you wouldn't be in this situation right now. And that's what your siblings are trying to say to you without coming out and saying it to you, because they all walk on eggshells around you, Amy, because they're so afraid that you're going to lose your shit and start crying if you say, maybe in this moment, you didn't make the best decisions as a mom, okay? Which is a lot nicer than saying you're a bad mom. But that's what they want to say, okay? But they're afraid to say that to you. They're afraid to say, you're bringing this man around your children after 2.5 months and marrying him and moving into his house, and you do not know this man. You do not know his history with his children. You don't know with your children. You don't know how he acts. You don't know how he behaves. And in that first 2.5 months, one of the only experiences that we have with this man that you're choosing to be a co-parent to your children is that he took your kids with drugs in the car to a park where you got bit and then both of you got arrested for child endangerment. So you think your siblings shouldn't be concerned about this, Amy? I would be thankful that your siblings care enough to actually say something, okay? But of course, she's always picking the guy instead. And so what? A year down the road, it'll be Brian's a horrible person, and I didn't know this about him, and this about him, and I should never have moved in with him, and all this kind of stuff. Well, maybe listen to your siblings, okay? They've given you a lot of, good advice in the past that you haven't listened to, so maybe this would be a good moment to listen to them. This is where... Okay, with kids in any of these shows, whether it's Poly Family or Sister Wives or 1,000-Pound Sisters, miss me with this shit. Miss me where I care about my kids most, but then you put a man ahead of it. Miss me with this shit of, I care about my kids most, but you can't even take accountability for the shit that you did, okay? Or to say to this man, you know what, I appreciate you proposing to me, but we just got arrested 2 weeks ago, and I think we need to put the brakes on this for a little bit, and I need to stay in my home and focus on my kids, giving them a foundation and stability before I think about moving in with you or getting married to you. But baby, she moves on right to the next thing. Her next goal is moving into the next man so she can have a bigger house for her kids. A bigger house does not necessarily mean better parenting, okay? I have met a lot of people in my life that lived in 10,000 square foot homes and had all the money in the world and they had shitty parenting, okay? And I have met people that grew up in studio apartments and their parents worked 3 jobs and they had amazing parenting, all right? So just moving into a bigger house with a pool ain't gonna make you a better parent, Amy Slayton, all right? You need to fix the foundation, and this is what your siblings are too afraid to say to you, because they're afraid that you're going to be like, well, you all just hate me, you're being mean, and you don't want me happy with this man. Everybody wants you happy, Amy, including me, okay? Everybody wants you happy. But you're already setting up a foundation for what doesn't look like happiness. We can already see this 2 miles down the road. You can't. You're choosing not to see it. And it's a problem. It's a real problem. So she goes on this whole thing and talks about them getting married next year on Halloween. Chris says he doesn't agree with them getting married on the devil's holiday, and that he says they just need to prioritize their life, which I agree with. And then they just sit there like a couple kids in the car. They don't really say anything else. Then Chris, Brittany, and Tammy go to see Dr. Smith. Tammy says it might be her last appointment before the skin removal surgery, and she doesn't want to get her hopes up. She said she's quit vaping, but she still takes a nicotine-free pen with her when she goes out, in case she gets, like, nervous or something. Her tests come back better than normal. Her proteins are not normal yet, but they're better. And her nicotine levels come back completely good. And so he approves her for her to go back to Pittsburgh to get the skin removal surgery, which is such a huge moment. It's such a huge moment, and I love it for her. And so he talks a lot about the testing and that she's not exactly where she needs to be, but it's more about, what's the word that he uses? I put it down on here. It's more about the positive trend of her behavior changes. So then he's like, hey, should we joke with Chris and Brittany? And so he's like, why don't we tell him that, like, basically insinuating that she didn't get approved. And so he goes out there and she's like, what you don't know about Dr. Smith is that he's like really, like, he's a jokester, he's real funny. And so they go out there and Dr. Smith's like, be real easy on her, she's having a hard time, insinuating that she didn't get the surgery approval. And then Tammy comes out and goes, I got approved. I mean, she just kind of ruins the joke. She's like, if I could have pushed out some tears, I probably could have done it. But anyway, and Chris says this is the biggest milestone for Tammy. I mean, I think it is, because Dr. Smith talks about how it's not the end of her journey, but it's like the beginning of the end of her journey. And I think it's a huge moment for her. It's something she's wanted for a really, really long time, you know? And then it goes into Amanda and Amy are meeting up for coffee. This is going to stop in a minute and a half, so hold on a second. Okay, it goes into Amy and Amanda meeting up for coffee because Amanda wants to talk to Amy. Even though they live together, they don't really see each other very often. Amanda says that Amy comes home late and, like, is going to bed when Amanda's getting up. Amy says she doesn't know why Amanda wants to meet with her. Amanda says that she wants to let her know that she found a place to move into and that in 2 weeks she'll be out of the house. Amy's like, I've been wanting her out of the house for months. Amanda thanks her and says that Amy showed up when nobody else in the family would, which I thought was really, really sweet. Amy tells her that she's moving in with Brian. Now, you can tell that Amanda's trying to be super supportive in this moment. And she is really supportive in this moment. But you can also tell that she has a lot of issues with this whole situation. She thinks Amy's taking it too fast. I think at this point, the family has kind of realized, I mean, they say it, But now they don't even say it because they're just like, Amy's not going to listen to whatever we say. And if we say anything, then Amy's going to say we're ganging up on her, even if it's out of concern. So they all just kind of tell Amy what she wants to hear to some degree. Amy tells her that she's moving with Brian. Amanda asks her about the proposal because Amy still hasn't told everybody about the proposal yet. Amanda supports her. Amy doesn't have a ring on her finger. She asks her for a ring because she says it itches her finger, that she's allergic to some metals. She says she doesn't need to get a engagement or wedding band because she'll just get tattooed on. She tells her that she's getting married at Waverly Hills. And then Amanda makes a comment. She says that Amy needs to figure out whether or not she wants her living family there or her dead family, insinuating the spirits, because like a lot of her living family is not going to come there, like Chris and Brittany. And they get this whole conversation about Brittany, saying that it's against Brittany's religious beliefs and things like that to go to this insane asylum on Halloween and get married. And Amy's like, I don't care. She's like, Jesus will forgive her for one day, and all this, which is really disrespectful. I think that Amy looks at things. I'm not saying that I necessarily like disagree with that statement, but I'm just saying, you know, Amy wants to say, I'm going to force everybody into this uncomfortable situation for my wedding. It's my wedding day, and I'm going to force everybody into this uncomfortable situation, which she doesn't even know if she's been able to book yet for Halloween. Apparently, she says they have a venue, so apparently she's got it booked. I don't know. I mean, she's lied about a lot of other things, and TLC lets her get away with it. So I don't know why TLC let her get away with lying about what the charges were. I mean, I think it's so misleading to the whole, like, concept of the show. I mean, if she had to sit on there and say, yeah, I got arrested for child endangerment, and possession of, you know, 2-class whatever, you know, substances, I think it looks a lot different than her saying I had some weed in my car that I had a medical license for that I just couldn't use in Kentucky. The fact that TLC let her get away with that, the production let her get away with that, is baffling to me. So Amy lies a lot on the show. They all lie kind of and tell certain stories and all that kind of stuff. I don't really understand it. It's confusing to me. So anyway, but then they talk about this whole thing. Amy gets very upset about it. And Amy says her family isn't supporting her again because they don't want to come to her wedding. Then Amy gives Tammy a tour of Brian's house. Tammy says she doesn't need to baby-proof it house because she's got one that's already baby-proofed at home. And I 100% agree with that. And she's like, maybe you need to take care of all this stuff at home. Well, they don't ever say anything to Amy, first of all. It's always in the confessionals. And so she's like, maybe she needs to, you know, take care of her life first and then worry about baby-proofing this house afterwards. I 100% agree. Amy doesn't understand why Tammy is in a bad mood all of a sudden. She's in a bad mood because she walks in this house and she realizes, what are you doing here? Like, this is you, like, once again, just hip-hopping from the next thing to the next, jumping from the next thing to the next. It's all about, now it's like, you've known this guy for 2.5, I mean, let's just think about this for a while, okay? You've known this guy for 2.5 months. You're engaged to him, okay? You're planning on moving your 2 toddler children in with him, and you're baby-proofing the house after 2.5 months. That's really quick, you know? And she doesn't understand why everybody thinks she's rushing into it. But she self-admittedly says that she's rushed into relationships all through her past. So I don't really understand what she doesn't get about it. So then they show, Brian and Amy say that the kids are into everything. They show the proof of it. And I'm like, why are you, like, showing this when you, like, anyway. So then they show the pool. Tammy says that Amy should pour tar in the pool and just level it off because it's such a mess. And I mean, it's dangerous. It's super dangerous. And I'm like, the place is, I put in here, the place is a mess, like Amy's place. Crooked pictures on the wall. But why does that drive me crazy? I mean, I've got a couple crooked pictures here in this house too. But it drives me, you know, it drives me crazy. Anyway, Amy says that they want to have a family get together, and Tammy just kind of goes like this and looks like, I mean, it is such a mess. I cannot believe, like, I did not know what this house was going to look like, but it's a mess inside. They talk about the wedding. Amy says that her mom's not coming to the wedding. Amy says if they don't want to be in her life, they don't have to, because she's making it all about this wedding at Waverly Hills, which is a year out from when this is being filmed. Tammy says they just want her to take her time. Tammy's very nice to her in person. And she says they don't want to go to a wedding in a haunted house. Amy starts crying and says her family doesn't support her, and that's how the episode ends. It's always that, right? It's like, if I don't get exactly what I want, which is, you know, I mean, in recovery, it's addict behavior to say we want what we want when we want it, and we don't get what we want when we want it, we act out. So I don't know if that's what's going on with Amy. All I know is that Amy probably needs to be in parenting classes, therapy, relationship therapy and working on herself before working on the next relationship and this man that has already brought disaster into her life. And that's just my perspective on it. So anyway, in next week's episode, we see that Tammy is going to Pittsburgh for her skin removal surgery and going into surgery for that. And Amy also makes, and that's where we see Amy storm out. She's pissed that people aren't supporting her. And then Amy at some dinner says that she's thinking about going back to see Dr. Smith because she wants to get back on some, like, I don't know, weight loss kind of thing. And then Chris makes a comment and says that Amy's bigger than him. And Tammy says that Amy's bigger than her. And, you know, it's interesting when you talk about the whole show started with Amy and her weight loss journey. And then now none of it is really about Amy and her weight loss journey at all. It's really about her just constantly effing up her life. And Tammy's become the star of the show. I can't imagine what that might feel like to Amy, but I also think that it might to Amy be like, maybe let's get some things in order here, you know? Not just the weight loss, but your life. So anyway, that was this week's episode. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.